The training mishap that had Collingwood hearts skip a beat. Jordan De Goey emerges unscathed, but the Collingwood questions run deep.
History beckons for the Suns. Richmond Premiership coach Damien Hardwick joins us ahead of Gold Coast's first finals appearance.
And delivering on all the hard work, Justin Longmuir has Fremantle poised for a home final as the Dockers strive to make a September impression.
Talked about is just step into it, embrace all of it.
Get in the room and fix it.
It's unedifying for a senior coach to do that.
They're on the side of caution with the brain. Take the man off.
They played the best footy I've ever seen at the start of the season. And if you'd said Brisbane lift the cup, I would have said, of course they do.
It's the stuff that legends are made of.
What is holding the ball? I don't think I could answer it clearly right now.
I could do something wrong, and I need to go. And the board sacks me.
The fans love it, and with no fans, no 360, right?
The casting of themes seems rather prominent this September. Was it
Have we got one?
thing in your day?
We need one.
We're impatient.
Start the game.
That's right.
No, you asked me this off air and have a think. I don't think we did, but we had John Northey was a big pre-season camp man. So there would always be one event, whether it was running up Mount Buller or Mount Buninyong back in those days, they would get reflected on throughout the course of the season. But I can't really think of themes. I know we're going to talk to Justin Longmuir, so they've jumped on the America's Cup theme. So
I was thinking with Sam Mitchell last night, he said his group of players, some would eat it up and some would be the sceptics. Which one would you have been?
No, I'm a bit more... hang on, let me re-answer that. Back then, very open to it. Now, yeah. I asked Lawson Humphrey today, he said, nah, Chris Scott, no theme.
No, we're not doing that. All right, here's what we've got lined up for you tonight. Damien Hardwick and Justin Longmuir as we complete our privileged access to coaches in the lead up to September. Ray Chamberlain has brought some friends in the three emerging female boundary umpires who saw action in AFL in round 24. So Greta, Melissa and Caitlin will join us. Then... it gets more significant with each passing week. Midweek tackle, there's so much to deal with on the trade front. So if you're a supporter of the 10 teams out of business, Lauren Wood, John Ralph and Scott Gullen are highly likely to satisfy you immediately after us. And then tomorrow night, our favourite pairing, Adam Simpson and John Longmuir, who will thrive at this time of year, as they did as players and coaches.
Yeah, tension between the two of them as well. It's real, with Adam being announced as the Jack McHale Medal presenter. So I'm looking forward to that.
What happens in September as track watching becomes more intense? This is true for coaches, for fans and for cameramen alike, and there's none better than Tony Escott here at Fox. He was deployed down at Collingwood today. It's as if he sees 2 and 3 moves ahead.
Genius he is.
Bit of match play, bit of match sim. Keep an eye on Jordan De Goey here with Isaac Quaynor coming across his path, and then... You don't want that moment.
There's always eyes down there as well, so your heart goes in your mouth. Right now you're going, worried, bit concerned. Yep, still need to... I think maybe... Oh, he's going off. And then when he jogged off, by the end of it, I think Esky's going, no, I've got the money shot and I've got the finishing shot. So he looks okay. Came back on train, yeah?
Yep, he did. He finished the session after a short absence, which, given the form we saw from him in the Melbourne game, he's such a big factor as we head towards Adelaide on Thursday night. And he's had wretched interruptions. He just needs a clear run at September.
No, and I think Craig McRae said to us he was pleasantly surprised at how forward, if you want to use that term, he was in his recent outing. So he could be the one who helped separate what was such a tight contest on Thursday. And I can't wait for the game, honestly. We'll talk about it again tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
But it just needs to start for all sorts of reasons.
All right, so this was Craig McRae a little after the blow from De Goey.
How's Jordan De Goey? We saw him go down.
Yeah, I was a bit worried about that. No, he's fine. He came back on. He just got a little bit of a knock on. I think it might have been his ankle. No, he's fine. He came back on. So fingers crossed, huh? That was good.
You don't want anyone going down to training at this time of year.
You do not.
So Beau McCreery, he didn't set the world alight, but he'll play on Thursday night, the coach said. And then there's the composition of their team. Is one of the aching questions out of the last time was how do they turn 71 inside 50s into something better? Now, Mason Cox has been thrown up. Dan McStay hasn't been in great form, although he clawed his way back late in the Melbourne game. Do they search for a different mix or do they stick with what they've got?
I know they were suggesting McStay's a possibility to go back. I don't know whether he's a matchup for either. Still thought Walker or Fogarty, to be honest. I think Maynard's more likely to take the third of those. And McCreary brings them something a bit different. How do they make something of it? I think there's a lot being made of the 71 inside 50s, a lot being made of the arm wrestle. I think they revisit the first quarter. They don't forget what happened in the first quarter, Jared. And I don't know how good your memory is. Yours is great, but our viewers, they played aggressive, take-it-on footy in that first quarter and they kicked 5 goals to 1. At quarter time, they led 5 goals to 1. There was no arm wrestle then. It was pretty aggressive ball movement from the back half. They wanted to come inside at every opportunity, and it was really good and interesting to watch. They had 12 to 13 inside 50s in the second and kicked the point to 5 goals, and then it really degenerated into that one behind the footy, and let's see what happens. But look, I imagine both teams, and I'm not forgetting Adelaide at all in all of this, will take a fair bit out of it, but there's a bit to take out of the first quarter, which has been lost a little bit. We look at it and go, gee, what a mismatch. Not in the first quarter, it wasn't. That was as good as Collingwood have been for a long time. All
right, we'll have the teams tomorrow night. The other training session of immense importance was at the Giants, having spoke to Adam Kingsley last night, which tried to weigh up his parameters. I loved he defaulted to Mark Williams, as don't play injured players. So there's a difference between dinged up and injured, which I thought he helped us differentiate. You've got to get the medical all clear, and this was the problem for Brent Daniels today, is he couldn't get through the session. So, of course, there's optimism in the aftermath, but if you were going at face value, Daniels didn't get through and spoke with the medical staff and off, and Jesse Hogan did everything that you would have wanted to see. Toby's in it. He's clearly dinged up, so he's not doing terribly much at the moment. Canelio was preserved around contact. He's coming back from the concussion. Stringer, Kelly. And then it becomes the judgment call, doesn't it?
I would imagine as a coach, not having never done it, that this would be one of the hardest things of all. And you take your hard line about the injuries. And when it comes to soft tissue, so you're talking Kelly with calves and Buckley with calves, they would be the hardest ones. So... And only they would know. They may have been holding Kelly back for 3 weeks. That might be the case. So they'll make the best decision. But, gee, when you've got a lot of them and when you've got a group of them and they're so important, then it makes it problematic. And I would imagine it'd be one of the great challenges for coaches. Do we go, nah, go with what we know and let's push hard here as opposed to taking the calculated risk. So good luck, because they're really influential players, obviously. Hogan and Buckley have a massive say. Stringer has a massive say. And then, well, if Daniels doesn't play, Canelio looks like the concussion will be sorted out, and then you're looking at Josh Kelly, who runs like no one else in the game. A few others, and he's got a soft tissue. So that's a hard one for them.
There's 3 layers to it. There's Thursday night selection, there's are there any late withdrawals, and then how does it play out? So we're always the wiser.
And you're playing for all the chips.
You are. Away from the final, so Melbourne's coaching process, where the interviews haven't started yet. This was always going to have a public-facing aspect, given that the central figure is Nathan Buckley. He spoke on Couch last night.
Still going through my process, which I can speak to, but take Melbourne on face value on who they're interviewing, of which I'm a part of that group. So they'll do their due diligence, as I will. So we're still in the mix. I've never been through a process like this before either. The succession plan at Collingwood was, point me in the right direction. I'm up for this. Let's get it done. I'm sitting back and prosecuting this a little bit more on different levels for myself and for whether I think it's a fit with Melbourne. So it is very different. Probably more particular, and probably definitely more conscious on what can and cannot work and not getting caught. I'm just thinking a bit clearer. It's not X's and O's. Like the game plan stuff is totally irrelevant.
My view is Bucks has been incredibly open and transparent as people are choosing to believe there's more going on than there is. And there are, I think, grossly unfair assumptions being made. And you know what's going on here.
Well, I know what I'm told, and I choose to believe. So Tom Morris reported today that he, in his opinion, it was Nathan Buckley's job if he wanted it. I'm told that's not true, and I believe the people who are involved. And I think it does do an injustice to people like Joe Watson and Frank Panisi, enormously respected and tough-minded, think for themselves individuals, to suggest that they're going through this process with a preordained outcome. And I don't believe that to be the case. So and people will say, oh, that's you being a Melbourne person. It's not. I've got nothing, no vested interest in it at all. I just want the best candidate. I know Nathan Buckley doesn't think that. He doesn't think that that's the case in any way, shape or form. So they say to me that the process hasn't commenced yet, that they have a shortlist and that will commence shortly. They hope to have an appointment made before the grand final, and to suggest otherwise is false, basically. So I mean, you make of that what you will. I think there's an integrity around this process, and the names that are associated to the process demand a bit more respect than to suggest that this job's already been decided.
Yes, those who sit on it, and then those who are going to submit themselves to it. You need to, in good faith, go into this believing that it's worth presenting your IP and all your preparation, and that there is a fair chance of winning the job. So I have no doubt there's a couple of people at Melbourne who would like Nathan Buckley as their coach.
Sure.
That's different to a boat race.
Yes, which is what was suggested today. So if you are a potential candidate, then you need to choose who you're going to believe in this. And I think they've been pretty transparent and upfront about the whole process. They got into the market early. There was the potential that it was going to be a competitive market, but it's not, given what happened with Carlton and Vossi. So they've been able to take their time and be considered and be thorough and set out a big search party of many names and narrowed it down to where we sit now. And that's, as I understand and I'm told again, assured, that commences Monday. And if you question it, you go and eyeball Joe Watson or you go and eyeball Frank Panisi and say you're wasting your time. This has been decided. I think that's a nonsense.
All right, to our two coaches who are on duty at the moment, let's start over in Perth. Fremantle should be well versed for what's to come. They won convincingly through the Eliminator to set up the Eliminator that they'll host in Perth.
Everyone's talking a lot. We're going to miss the finals. We've got full faith in this group to be able to go there and get it done and play our way, and confident that our way is good enough.
I love that, Jared. I don't know whether he had to be put up to do it or he just got on the front foot and went whack. But that is exactly the mindset that the club's got to come to Marvel Stadium with on a Sunday.
As close as you can get to a final, the anxiety levels might even be higher. The consequences for the loser are grave.
Felt like there was that sort of performance coming all week from the attitude of the players.
This has been special for the Dockers. This is the best version of the Dockers. Charge and charge and charge again. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Finally, the Dockers are going back to the finals.
Questioned all week about pressure, about history, about heat when it matters. How's that for an answer?
Our best footy has been against the best side, so we should be full of belief and understand that we can beat anyone.
It's a mighty, mighty performance from the Fremantle Dockers.
It was Justin Longmuir's commentary that was the most compelling all the way through. For our video messaging service, Swish surprised Dad with a personalised video this Father's Day. Justin's on duty now in the West. Justin, great to have you back on 360.
Good to be back on, lads.
Pretty good entree to what's to come. How have you used it? What did you take from it to set you up for Saturday night?
Yeah, it was. And I said to the players post that game and in the week since that it's going to be hard to believe that we'll be under more pressure this week than what we were last week. Obviously finals brings a different pressure about it, but I was really proud of the way the players were able to probably ignore some of the outside voices during the lead up to the Western Bulldogs game and really just focus on what we needed to control. And we understood that the game wasn't going to go our way the whole time, and they were able to withstand the challenge in the first quarter and then get the game on our terms as the game went on. And that's going to hold us in really good stead moving into this week and beyond.
Well done, Justin. Outstanding. You've got there and you're qualified, and now it's all before you in the next 4 weeks. Just wondering, given the nature of that win and how big it was against the Dogs and then the week off, are you concerned about momentum? Not that your wins against these top sides is going to hold you in great stead, but you're riding this wave of emotion and you just got to park it ever so slightly.
Yeah, always concerned about that, Gaz. And, yeah, we've been in sort of a flow probably for the last 12, 13 weeks where our form has been really solid and found, probably, a real strong process through that time where we've just rolled 1 week into the next and, being able to rely on that schedule, I guess, and that process through that time. So, yeah, always a little bit concerned about it, but feel like we've jumped into this week really well. We started focusing on Gold Coast today. And we've still got a little bit of time up our sleeve to finish off our prep, obviously. But always a little bit concerned. But having said that, all clubs are in the same boat, so we're all dealing with the same thing.
There's so many things to take out of it, but it seems like it was an age ago. 4 goals to 2 down at quarter time. You're trailing by 16 points. What was the thing that pleased you most out of it all?
Like I said, to withstand their challenge early, we knew they were going to come out, and bring their best footy early. They did that against us in round 4 when we played them last time, and were able to withstand their pressure then as well. And then we got the contest on our terms, and everyone wants to talk about our ball movement, but our ball movement flowed off the back of getting a little bit more field position and not having to start our ball movement up from so deep. And like I said, after the game, all our phases of the game came together in that second quarter really nicely. But it's probably more pleased with our ability to stay connected when they had momentum and turn the tide in our direction.
You had a taster of finals a few years back, won your home elimination final and then faced Collingwood in the semi. What did you learn from that as a coach? And the team's a bit different, but there are some who will be able to draw back on the little taster that they've had. I
think being able to deal or understand that there's a lot of outcome-based pressure and outcome noise, and there's less games, so there's more focus on each game, and especially over here when we're the only WA team in it. So being able to understand that aspect of it and embrace that aspect of it, but make sure that you're able to play the game that you want to play on the weekend and control what you can control. And felt like that Western Bulldogs game in that final, we just didn't jump into the game the way we wanted. We didn't trust ourselves. We didn't play with the freedom we would like. It was probably a little bit like round 24, to be honest. And then, once we found that freedom, our game was able to come to life. So definitely don't want to give up a 40-point head start like we did in that 2022 final. But, there's definitely some lessons in how to play with freedom and, just trust our game style and trust the game plan and play for each other, I guess.
From even before we stepped into the season, Justin, there were questions around consequence, as you've put it, for yourself, for the team. Do you feel like you've insulated your group and yourself well from the outside narratives to just pick off what is an excellent sequence of form now, having lost only twice since round 9?
Yeah, whether we're insulated, I don't think it's insulating it. It's being able to give the players the tools to be able to deal with that type of pressure. I think, Jared, is the better way to put it. And, no one really likes to go through it. And we showed a trademark video the other day to the players, and it was a depiction of our season. And, some of it was really hard to watch, but those challenges are what make you as a team, and the challenges are what make you as an individual as well. So, like I said to the players, I don't know whether we'd be in this position if it wasn't for round 8 against St Kilda on that Friday night. It was really disappointing at the time, and looking back on it, it's not great. But that challenge, the challenge of the week after, and owning our lot and allowing that to make us a better footy club, probably is the reason why we're here now. So. It's probably not necessarily insulating. It's probably giving the players, like I said, the tools to be able to deal with those situations and the pressure. And, I've been able to lean in on that as well because, as you mentioned, I've been under pressure at times this year, and I've got to model what I preach.
So what sort of tools have you developed to look after yourself through that?
It's making sure that, I tend not to read too much about what's going on, but sometimes when it gets really hot, people just text you your support out of nowhere, and you're actually not sure sometimes where it's coming from. But you sort of don't have to dig too deep to work out where the people are coming from. And I just make sure that I get my feedback internal. Joe Bridie's been amazing as a GM. Garlo as a CEO has been amazing. And those two guys know my coaching better than anyone. They sit in a lot of my meetings, reviews, previews. They have a good idea of how I have relationships with players and go about setting up the plans for each week. So I lean on their feedback more than external feedback.
You've been unyielding in your faith in this group, and I sort of went over and we watched that last game, and I was wondering whether the belief is really there, and then the response was outstanding. When does vindication come for you? Does it come in one final win, two final wins? Is it only the premiership? I mean, how can you absolutely feel vindicated?
Probably not necessarily the results. I would like to win 4 in a row coming up. But it's probably more the way we play, and that was a lesson and the great reminder we got out of the last 2 games of the year, Gaz, is that Brisbane game was far from the way we want to play. And I know the X's and O's gets heavily scrutinised, but we didn't play for each other. We didn't play as a team that night. We didn't bring each other into the game. I spoke about trust before. We definitely didn't trust ourselves to explore our space and drive at the opposition and be proactive. And we've got a great reminder of what our footy can look like if we do those things against the Western Bulldogs. So it's probably more about the way it looks rather than the actual result. Yeah, clearly we'd love to win 4 games in a row, but other teams are going to want to be doing that. But it's more the way we play and the way it looks, and making sure that we just stick to our model. And if that's not good enough, well, then we'll need to make changes. But like we saw in that last game, if we can lean in on those things, our best is pretty good.
Are you preparing for wet weather? It's a bit of a diabolical forecast Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, we had a couple of days over here that got into the 20s, which was really nice. We thought spring was here, but the forecast isn't looking great. The Bomb haven't exactly put them on the line with their forecast. It's 4 to 25 mils, so it can land anywhere. But, I think it's going to be wet and windy, and I think we've had 6 games in the wet this year, which has been a little bit of a phenomenon in itself. But we've handled ourselves really well in those conditions. I think Gold Coast are built for those conditions. We had a head-to-head clash in those conditions up on the Gold Coast during the year, so we'll be ready for whatever conditions.
Justin, appreciate your time right throughout the season, so good luck Saturday night.
Yep.
Thanks, lads. Appreciate it.
Good on you. Justin Longmuir there, the Fremantle coach. So the other side of the coin in a moment's time. Gold Coast heading for their first final series. It's over in the West as a starting point. He's no stranger himself to these moments, though. Damien Hardwick returns to September, this time with his sons.
Luke Bruce here from the Hawks. Dane Zorko here from the Brisbane Lions.
Jack from the Pies here.
It's Vossi here from the Dockers, mate.
Jai here from the Hawks. I want to reach out and wish you a very happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, mate. More importantly, what a big day it is on the calendar for us fathers.
Scooter here, mate. I wanted to wish you a happy Father's Day. Hope you have a wonderful day, mate.
I just want to go in here and wish you a huge happy Father's Day. I hear you're a great dad and give a lot of love and support to all the kids.
Hey, Ben, hope you're going well. Toby Green here, just wishing you a happy Father's Day from Claire and Leela.
Jezza Cameron here from the Cats forward line down in Geelong, just having a bit of a stroll around the farm at the moment.
It's Father's Day, and happy Father's Day, mate, from me and the entire Bulldogs community, mate.
I certainly hope you have a fantastic day.
And I just want to wish you a very happy Father's Day, mate. We all do. Father's Day's a cracker for you, mate. I hope you get treated very well.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you for your support, and we hope you have a wonderful day, mate.
The Turning Point, brought to you by Ashley and Martin.
The boardwalk at Surface is not a bad place to do your first live interview. It probably helps answer the question, are you happy to move your life to Queensland?
Yeah, to be fair, it was a very exciting morning this morning when you walk out and you actually see sun.
To the coach of the 2017 Toyota AFL Premiership team. The 2019 Toyota AFL Premiership team. The 2020 AFL Toyota Premiership. Damien Hardwick.
I'm not the Messiah. I'm part of the puzzle that's going to take us where we need to go.
I'm very much looking forward to coaching our young men and taking us to where we need to go, and that's to raise our first Premiership Cup, which I'm pretty sure will be in the not too distant future.
The night he was appointed, Damien Hardwick joined us on AFL360. Even though it's been costly along the journey from time to time, he has stayed with us throughout. We're back on the Gold Coast now. Damien, congratulations on a final series. Welcome.
Thanks, guys. Evening, gents. How are we?
So this was the whole purpose, wasn't it? To take the job and take a club that had struggled for 13 years and get them to the finals.
Yeah, it was. Look, it's one of the exciting things about the challenge of taking the job was to try and get to our first finals campaign. And look, it would have been nice if it was 12 months earlier, but look, we're there now. It's been a little bit of a up and down final part of the season, but we're pumped to be a part of it and very, very excited about travelling over to Freo come Friday to play on Saturday night.
Yeah, congratulations, Dim. I mean, we shouldn't gloss over it. It's been a challenge for all clubs to try and establish a foothold in that market, and you've been able to get up there and do what the AFL's been screaming out for someone to do, and that is bring relevancy to a footy club on the Gold Coast. And you've managed it in the space of 2 years. I don't, have you taken a moment just to reflect, or will that come post your campaign?
Oh, we took a moment as a club. I think one of the things that is very underrated is it's incredibly tough to make a finals campaign no matter what side you are. There's 18 sides at the start of the year that's setting out to achieve, 8 spots, and we're fortunate enough to be a part of that. So as a club, we took a moment at the end of the game and a little bit of a sigh of relief to get there, but just a celebration of, the people that have been here for 15 years trying to achieve something that has been beyond them at this stage. And it was a really exciting moment to see, two of our trainers, Barry and Phil, and then Alex Rigby and Barry Rigby, doctors and high-performance people, Lindsay Bull, that have been there since the inception of the club. It was such an integral, an important moment in, our football club, and we were very excited to be a part of it.
It's massive. So how do you now caution against that being the highlight? How do you caution against the mentality of the group going, yes, it has been a success. We are the first. We have done everything that we wanted to do, whereas your history and your experience says, no, this is just the start.
Yeah, we flicked the switch pretty quickly. We did speak about, one season ends and another one starts. And, you don't sit there, you do play your 23 rounds to get the right to play in this next season, which is the most important one. And that's quickly where we spoke to the players about that. Listen, we want you to enjoy the aspect that we've qualified, but now the hard work starts. And, we're 1 in 8 chance. That's the reality of the situation. And the exciting thing about the situation, all you have to do is be playing your best footy at this time of year, and you never know what's possible.
So your last finals appearance as a coach was 2022, so it's not an age ago, but are you looking forward to getting back into that cauldron of an elimination final when it's all on the line?
Yeah, I am. Hopefully they've fixed the arc now, Jared.
Yes, that's right. I was thinking of that today.
It is exciting. And the one thing that I've been pumped about up here is the city of Gold Coast have just embraced us as well, which is really exciting. Everyone sort of likes to jump on a winner, and we've sort of sit there. We've got a live site in Hotto there where the Gold Coast Council have put it on for us. Starts at 7:30. But the amount of people that are sitting there now in Suns colours and jumping on the Suns is really important. I've seen this on the front page and back page of the Bulletin, I think, for the last week and a half, which is something I haven't seen since my time up here. So it's really exciting, not only for us, but I think the people of Gold Coast as well.
What gives you confidence that they're going to handle this moment then?
Well, we learned some lessons along the way. Once again, it's a challenging environment playing in hostile environments, and we're going to play in front of our biggest crowd that our club has ever played against, probably close to 60,000, but we're excited by it. We had a really challenging game versus Port Adelaide, and you won't find a more hostile environment than that. Didn't quite get to where we needed to go in that game, but we always say a loss is a gift, and we learned some things in that game that we didn't do particularly well, and we're looking forward to rectifying that come this week, coming this Saturday night versus Freo.
And leadership becomes critically important. So we spoke last week just ahead of your game where, to all intents and purposes, you should have won, and you did win comfortably, but there'd be nerves at the moment. And it was Rowell and Anderson who just came out and went, whack, no, let me and let us put this to bed. So the leadership of those boys and Jared Witts and others is, I would imagine, what gets you on a plane and excited.
Yeah, very much so. And like every, finals calibre side, the leaders really do take take over. You know, you should sit there and prepare, and 80% of our work is during the week, and then the 80% of the players' work is on the weekend. And you know, we're very fortunate to have guys like, you know, Noah, Rowley, Sam Collins, Touk Miller, Ben King are obviously in our leadership group, but then the experience of guys like, you know, Jared Witts and Dave Swallow that have been enormous contributors to our football club for a long period of time. So, you know, once again, we're very fortunate those players lead, and they lead the way, and I feel they're built for finals as well, which is really exciting.
David Swallows announced the retirement's coming at the end of the season, so he's your first draft pick. He's been a captain. He's stayed the whole way through, so he's lived the journey. What chance is there that he actually gets to play?
I'm going to give you an exclusive here tonight, Jared.
Yep.
The man will play. We're not giving him a game. He's earned the game. He's been an outstanding contributor to our football club. You know, Jared Witts, I think, summed it up best. He stayed when others left. You know, he epitomises what our footy club is built on the back of. You know, character. You know, him and Georgia have been incredible, I think, for our football club. And, you know, their young family in Charlie and Lucy has, you know, become a part of the fabric of us as well. And, you know, he's earned the right to play, you know, a finals game. You know, what we want is to see this player earn the opportunity to play in a couple more as well. So he'll go well.
Do you think those who have lived substantial parts of the journey will sort of rise to that? As I can imagine, inside a footy club, that's going to be a very popular circumstance.
I think so. Look, we were unfortunately on the end of it for Travis Boak and King Hinkley's last game. You know, emotion can go one of two ways. You can either go over the top or it can inspire. And I think we can only look at, you know, David and be inspired by his journey. Look, he's been, you know, I think he moved here as a 17-year-old, moved here early. AFL gave him permission. He's been in the Gold Coast for 15 years. He set up his life here, or the majority of his adult life. And I think our players can only benefit from that that buzz and that excitement. And, you know, we'll play for him, no question.
I love that you've told us that. It's got my mind going, because we've talked and debated. You know, it's been a talking point down here for a couple of days, and I'm telling you, there's not many that had him in. There was no. Dimmer's not one for emotion here. He's going to pick a team that's going to carry you. So I think it's caught me. I think caught Jared on the hop here. So you're not getting a bit soft in the heart, are you?
No. Don't get me wrong. When there's 25 mils of rain, there's one guy I want on the field, and that's David Swallow playing like a rhino. How he plays. So there's a reason. There's a bit of madness. But look, it's head versus heart, but the combination of circumstances is he deserves his spot. He's earned his spot, and we look forward to giving him that opportunity come Saturday night.
Have you relayed this to... I'm assuming you've relayed it to the playing group?
No, I haven't actually, but I've relayed it to David, who's 5 doors down the street actually. I knocked on his door late last night, sort of thing, and you know, gave him the news that he'd donned the jumper for his 248th game, which is important. Obviously, I spoke to the captain and Noah Anderson to get his thoughts about it, and you can imagine what him and Jared Witts and the guys were like. So, yeah, I think they'll be pumped.
Outstanding.
Finals themes, some coaches yes, some coaches no. I feel like your players will be waiting for you to conjure a theme for them, because it's a bit legendary what you've done in the past. Do you feel any pressure to give them something?
Always pressure, Jared. God, try to come up with something that's going to help them get over the line. But, look, there is a little bit of storytelling and there's a little bit of theming, and that'll remain in-house for a period of time. And, you know, what I do like is story's a thing that gets people to lean in. You know, once again, the game is, from a process point of view, will be very, very similar, but that buy-in and that emotional connection, that emotional state, to me, I think is very, very important about our journey and what that looks like. So, yeah, there'll be something in place this week, and, you know, hopefully it has some sort of impact to help us get over the line.
Yeah, well, we look forward to seeing the Suns for the first time in September.
That'll be great. Look, and especially now. I love that story. It's a good story out of tonight. So you've been great with us all year, Dimmer. We appreciate your support. Jared said if you win the first final, he'll pay that fine as well. So it's a great result.
Listen, have you bought your $1 membership yet, Gary, or not?
My word, I have. I've got many of them.
I'll make sure they check that database. There's a rumour going around you're a tight ass, so we'll have to make sure.
See you in Perth on Saturday.
Thanks, boys. It's been a pleasure. Love it.
Good on you. Damien Hardwick.
That is a great story.
It is.
I kind of love it. I kind of had dismissed it as a possibility. and I think it's going to hold them in great stead.
All right, terrific. That's the setup from our two coaches for the elimination final over in the West. Razor's Edge, the umps have a role to play at this time of year, have experiences from the past, and a little bit of ARC intervention coming in September.
You need to calm down. We don't talk to one another like that.
Ray Chamberlain, see you next Tuesday. Record crowd off the charts, atmosphere highly contentious, tense everywhere you look, umpiring blues throughout. We've been here before just a couple of weeks ago with Adelaide and Collingwood, and now it gets reprised, but it is for even bigger stakes now. The AFL's gone to the special effort of going, this is a free kick, don't miss it this time around. It came in a memo, no less. So back we all go to Adelaide Oval. A bit of Razor's Edge here. We've had a proper bust-up after weeks of tension. Ray's finally come over to this side of the desk. They can stand each other no longer.
The finals, Jared. The break has appeared.
Ray, welcome.
Hey, lovely to be here. How are we?
There's a reason for it. It'll all be revealed shortly.
Elevated atmosphere of finals. Do you feel it as umps?
Absolutely. And, you know, you're challenging yourself because the laws of the game remain the same. It's the same venue, the same players. So all of that stuff remains the same. The margins get tighter. The players are more disciplined. There's more on the line. They're less likely to step outside the boundaries in things. You've got the best players. As an umpire, you go onto the field with great confidence because the umpires who are left, there'll be 16 field umpires left out of 42. So they've earned that right, just like the clubs have. So you've got great umpires with you. But what the great challenge is, and I don't suspect it's any different for the players, is staying in your head and controlling the extrinsic factors that actually have no bearing. So, you know, will I get picked again next week? You know, those types of things. So the person who's able to control their emotion and control their mind, they tend to be the ones that perform the best.
Easier games to umpire or not?
No, they're much harder because the margins are so tight. Is that free or not? But
why are the margins tighter?
I think they're less egregious in the way they play the game. So is it a gentle... Like, they're the best players. Yeah. So they push the envelope right to the line without necessarily crossing it. So all that marking contest stuff, contest for the ball, ruck, it's much harder finding that's free kick, that's not.
So do you let it go?
Do you let it go, put the whistle away, guys? You're buying into that?
I 100% buy into it.
Yeah, so I've got an alternate view, but I can understand that.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, mine's backed up by data. Yours is emotion and a tin hat. So I don't know. We can figure it out at another time, I guess. But
that's the reason he's over there. He's got braver all of a sudden.
I know you can't throw a left. But no, the data would suggest that there's no difference in free kick count. But I understand the narrative. I think what you do get is you do get the best umpires and you do get the best players. And you don't want... I suspect you wouldn't want to be the player that was ill-disciplined, cost a 50, one-kick game, you're the difference. So I think from a management perspective, umpiring's a little easier.
OK, let me phrase it this. Is it more genuine a contest because players aren't looking to bluff an umpire, fake for a free kick, right, take a dive. It is a much more genuine contest.
Amen. And that's, I guess, what I'm trying to intimate around the discipline of the player. They're genuinely wanting to win the football. You catch and kill your own in September. Yeah. And so that, from that perspective, from an umpiring perspective, I think there's a discernible difference between what's a free and what isn't as a result.
We wanted you to personalise it. Pick one moment from one final that would come to mind, and you didn't have any trouble coming up with one.
No, it still rattles in my head. Now, you've got to understand, we've got to look at this through the eyes of 2009, because that's when it was, and it was a preliminary final. It was my first prelim final, and I had one final out, 3 years on the bounce, and then I finally broke through to get an opportunity, and I was with two of our very best of all time. The boss of umpiring now, Stephen McBurney, and our favourite, Shane McInerney, and there was an incident in the second quarter where a holding the ball free kick was awarded, but Ryan Hargrave kicks the ball. And you can see it here. Ball goes to boundary, he's tackled, but he kicks it. McWalter, actually, is the tackler there, and then Nick Del Santo gets the ball eventually, and he'll slot a great goal. And I'm at the top of screen there, and I can see that he kicked it. But back then, Jared, we didn't intervene for interpretational free kicks. If you saw a high tackle or a throw, you could pay it. But I wasn't allowed to overrule that. But I knew he'd kicked it. And as it turns out, I was the emergency umpire for the grand final. I wasn't selected, and I just think no courage. No, sort of like.
Do you think that cost you the grand final spot?
Well, no, I don't think that did, but I do wonder. No guts, no glory, no legend, no story. Right? You go in and go, mate, he kicked it. Are you aware? No, I thought it hit the ground. It didn't. Ball it up. You get the right result. Maybe I do a grand final.
So the right result, we're going to have a significant change for September.
Yes.
And two things can be true at the same time. So there's going to be ARC assistance for the boundary umpiring decisions in certain circumstances. So one is get as much as we can in the game right in real time.
Yes.
And the other is the creep of technological intervention. Both of these things are true. Before we dig into the detail, do you think this is the right adjustment for a final series?
I love it in the way it's been framed and communicated, which is a discernible difference to what's been the evolution of score review. So we've lamented score review earlier in the year where we said that it was after a grand final and Hawkins clipping the post, and we wanted to eliminate the howler. And we're going to see 3 examples where the AFL is saying this is the poster child for where this intervention will take place, and I'm all for that. But when you try and jam a Commodore 64 technology and make it do AI stuff, it doesn't come out well, and that for me is problematic. So if we use it for these 3 examples that we're talking here, Jared, and it provides a framework to protect against human error and not impact negatively on the outcome of the game, I think that's okay.
So how's this going to work? Talk me through the mechanics of it. Who makes there's a message that comes back down to the umpire from the ARC?
So there's no delay. The ARC will do its work in real time before play resumes and communicate to the umpires.
Right.
This ball is on the full, the previous one is not on the full, and this ball wasn't touched.
So it won't be a matter of calling the play back?
No, so you can't. If play resumes, that's the point of no return, and you have to wedge it into the natural pause in the game.
I do think there's a couple of things that are reasonable to table, and that is that the AFL have been trialling this in the background all season. So it's not like this is new news. On average, with these sorts of situations, the boundary umpires take about 15 seconds to get it resolved, and the ARC believe that they can get it resolved in 8 seconds, meaning that in a situation like the Heaney example, they will be able to communicate with the field umpire and intervene before the ball gets back into play.
Good, because we don't want any delay on the game.
No, absolutely, and that is one of their pillars about implementing this.
So there is a risk, is that if Heaney knows now, get that ball into play before the review can finish its work. If Heaney knows that's a bump ball and he goes to take it and he pauses, he's going to intuitively know this is going to get overturned. If he can get the ball moving immediately, then the pledge in this memo is that they will not recall it and they will not stop play.
Game moves quicker.
So if you're Heaney and you know, move the ball straight away and don't allow them to do their work.
I like it.
Anyway, the creep of technology is so interesting at this time of year. You brought some friends in tonight, which is great.
Yes.
So, Greta, these are our emerging boundary umpires who had a taste of action in the AFL in round 24. So, Greta Miller, who I know you've worked closely with. Greta, it's lovely to meet you. Melissa Samsbrooks. Melissa, great to see you. And Caitlin Barr, welcome. So, Caitlin, just tell us about your experience having a look at things in round 24 in the men's.
Yeah, so I actually was the game after these two. So these two on Thursday and I was Saturday by myself. So it was an amazing experience. I had Adelaide North and there was probably 17,000 people at Marvel, and honestly, with the roof on, it felt like 100,000. So it was the biggest crowd that I'd had, and the play, the level that the players were at, and the support from the crowd and my friends and family, it was just an amazing experience. And yeah, I've told everyone it was the best day of my life, so thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nerves? How were the nerves?
I was so nervous until probably half-time. I probably didn't enjoy the game until half-time.
What's the toughest part of it?
For us, probably the throw. So the running is all right. We do about 16 to 18 Ks in a game. But for us, it's definitely getting that height and distance on the throw.
Melissa, how much work had gone into getting your debut in the men's comp?
Oh, well, you think about being umpiring overall for 16 years and being down the VFL between development and senior squad for 10 years, an AFL rookie this year. So I guess it's all been building towards it. But yeah, at least for the past 10 years being at State League, it's a lot of effort going into it.
And Greta, you've been working with Ray.
Yeah, so one of the things, two things you probably won't know about the girls, and that is there's a strong Carlton connection, more to do with their vocational pursuits. So I know that Johnny Barker and Adrian Gleeson in Greta's capable hands during the week at their place of work. And I think, Caitlin, are you at Camberwell Girls Grammar, is that right? Andy Marr's daughter is one of your students, so there's a bit of influence there. But my main question that I wanted to ask Greta was, with field umpires and boundary umpires, when it gets a little bit, there can be some acrimony, is when they start getting the grippo on their hands and then they get it on the ball and then you try and bounce it and it's like it's stuck to your hand. Have you ever had any troubles with the grippo at all, Greta?
I actually do like to use the grippo. I just like a little bit just for the throws, but yeah, I've gotten used to that now.
And has Ray been some sort of a mentor for the three of you? I hope not. But has he been any help at all?
Well, he's good. I think just the relationship he builds with everyone. It's good going out on game day and you can just have fun and not just enjoy the experience out there.
We've got a whole host of young girls probably watching and they may not have even thought about becoming involved in the umpiring fraternity. What would your advice be?
I think it's just giving it a go. Like, if it is, you're worried about rocking up to the first training session, take a friend along with you and you will, enjoy that and you never know where it's going to go. And, worst case scenario, get a little bit of pocket money out of it if you do a game. So it's perfect.
Well, I hope it's a fraction more than just pocket money now. So well done for what you've achieved so far and good luck with your endeavours. We'll follow closely.
Thank you.
Good on you. Greta, Melissa and Caitlin. Ray, thanks for bringing friends.
Hey, welcome, well done, congratulations. Everyone's super proud of them and thanks for bringing them on, guys.
See you next week. See you next week.
Well done.
A
quick learn.
Painfully along the way. Sivo and Horse tomorrow night. Do they know this time of year? As players and coaches, colleagues and rivals, John Longmuir and Adam Simpson come to the fore in these weeks of September.
For the times they are a-changing.
Zach, the broader conversation around you, which has been had in the industry at the moment, where we casually move players wherever we feel they should go, is go and be happy somewhere else. Are you aware of that conversation?
Yeah, I don't live under a rock. I'm certainly aware of that.
Are you just absolutely unequivocally putting that to bed and saying that's just made up, that stuff?
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm contracted for 2 more years. I'm the captain of the footy club. I've got so much trust in Brad and what he's doing, and I really want to see that through and that plan through. The strategy is a bit longer than I probably would hopefully have liked when I signed 4 years ago, but I think it's pretty clear now that these kids are coming through and, yeah, I want to taste that ultimate success with the footy club.
They are a-changing.
He's living a reality on repeat, Zach Merritt, as if it's not blind faith, and in life you make the same choice over and over again. And again, we look to Zach to see, does he still believe in the Essendon dream?
July the 15th, that was, Jared. The answer he gave, I believe, but the answer can change. And what else was he going to say if he was thinking ultimately in season? Yes, of course. So I work with Tim Watson, one of the all-time greats. Couldn't even contemplate losing Zach Merritt. And that's when, if there is there's not a crisis, but there is challenges. And if that was to unfold, that'd be a disaster for the Bombers.
Yep. So he's the bellwether. Does he still believe?
Does he choose to say, hey, I'll put my flag in the ground here and let's get on with it?
We'll find out soon enough. Isaac Rankin's due back in Adelaide tonight in the coming hours, so we'll hear from him for the first time since his suspension. See you tomorrow night.
Looking forward to it.
The midweek tackle with Lauren Wood.